Hey there, aspiring guitarists. Let's talk about chord practice. I know everybody just hates to hear that, but you got to learn your chords. Um, you got to learn your cowboy chords, and then from there you'll learn some other stuff. Y'all have heard me in other videos talk about learn a major, learn a minor, learn a seventh, then try to learn some more. It's the wonderful thing about guitar. It's the never-ending learning journey. You've heard me say, I don't ever want to master the guitar. I want to continue to learn. I did a video about this little device here. It's a handheld chord trainer. There's all kinds of them. I did a video that talks about this one. I like this one because of the little chord diagram up here that you can change with the buttons. And I'll put a link to the old video, or I'll end the video with a link back to that. And I'll put a link to this. I don't make a dime off this. I'll put a link to Amazon. But you don't need this to do this chord practice. I'm using this to show you something. When you practice your chords, like this is a G chord. You can see it up there. And the G chord, they'll tell you, somebody will say, put your first finger in the second fret, the fifth string. Put your second finger in the third fret, sixth string. Take your third finger and in the third fret, put it on the first string. And that's how we're taught. Now, sometimes you'll hear somebody say string. Sometimes you'll hear somebody say the note of the string. Instead of hearing take your first finger and put it on the second fret of the fifth string, they'll say take your first finger, put it on the second fret of the A note. Because remember, of the A string, my apologies. Remember, the A string is also the fifth string. So, but what I want you to do when you're practicing your chords, this is not, I've heard people say, no, that's too much. I don't think it is. Do a chord with fingers 1, 2, and 3, and then do them with fingers 2, 3, and 4. There's the first finger sitting there doing nothing. And you may ask, why would I ever do that? And this is where you can take your chord practice into chord progressions. Well, if you were going from G to C with fingers 1, 2, 3, like I have here, 1, 2, and 3, and you had to make a C, you would actually have to lift up and reposition fingers to make the C. But if you were making the G with 2, 3, and 4, then you would have less lifting up and traveling. You could simply just pull the third finger down one string, drop the second one down one string, and then already in alignment, drop the first finger on the second string, first fret. And if you get in the habit of learning to do that, try, when you make a C chord, can you do it with 2, 3, and 4? Now, that's hard. I've heard people say, well, you can't do it with a D, but actually you can. In fact, remember, D is part of the shape for the cage system. So this may be hard, but at least try. Absolutely concentrate on making it with 1, 2, and 3 first. But then see if it's even possible to do fingers 2, 3, and 4, and where that might be advantageous to you, to do such. I make an E minor a lot of times with 2 and 3. You don't even need 4. Let me get this where you can see it. And the reason I do that is I can take this loose index finger and just drop it down on the first fret, the third string, and add an E major chord. So I'm going from E major here, pulling up, now I got an E minor. And that's part of you understanding chords are shapes. They're shapes. They're used in the cage system. They're used in scales. They're built off scales. So it's just another thing that might be a little hard, but it can enhance down the road. Also make it easier to play faster. You may find that using 2, 3, and 4, or just 2 and 3 instead of 1 and 2, sometimes makes it easier to place a chord. So that's our little guitar instruction for the day. You don't have, remember, I'm just using this because it's easy to, show a chord on here. You can do this, of course, with your guitar. So, anyway, I hope your guitar journey is wonderful and blessed. And most of all, and I do mean it, happy picking.